you're not almost there.
Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron channel. Welcome to Massive Iron Live. We're live. It's 11 o'clock, and I'm going to type in live starts now into the comments so I can remember. Let me turn this down a little bit or up. How's that? We got to center my ugly head a little bit, right? There we go. I have to, I typed in live starts now so I can remember when your hoodie or t-shirt, when the hoodie or t-shirt giveaway is going on. How's it going, guys? What's new? What's going on? It is Massive Iron Live, Friday, January 27th. We're almost to February. Thankfully, I got this new thing going on. What do you think? I thought I'd get a little bit more professional. Each day, we're progressive overloading professionalism on Massive Iron. Maybe by the time I croak, we'll actually have this thing down pat. How are things going, guys? What are you doing today? I'm off to a good start today. We stayed up watching a movie last night. Not too late. It was all right. What did we watch? What the heck movie did I watch? Man, it's pretty bad. The Offering. It was kind of some Hebrew paranormal thing. It was all right. So, you guys new here? Appreciate you joining me. Post up a question. This is your Q&A, and post up a question. I will stay on as long as you guys have questions. And there's no dumb questions, no stupid questions, just sometimes awkward questions, right? When people ask me if I like peanut butter and I don't. So you'll just have to get over it. But seriously, if you're new here, don't be shy about posting up questions. I'm here to help. I'll stay on as long as you guys have questions. So what do you guys got going on this weekend? I'm going to try to get some mileage in this weekend. I'm off to a good start. I didn't have any protein bars today. I had turkey bacon. That was my morning meal, turkey bacon, and I'm feeling pretty good. So, a couple of things before we start. If your question doesn't go through, try typing it in again. It is not me throttling you. It's not me throttling you if your question doesn't go through. YouTube's super fickle, and sometimes your questions don't go through, and I can't help that. Type in your question again, and if that doesn't work, you can head over to Instagram, @the barman, slide into my DM, and I answer every question over there. I think I'm caught up. This morning I answered a form question over there about squat form. So you can even send me squat check videos if you want, man. I will look at everything. So, all right. Let's dive into things, shall we? We got everything going on. Let's see. We got Instagram. We got Tweeter. We got my website. We got the reminder to subscribe. And we got coaching, Team Massive fitness equipment, and a training app, all linked down below. Just one thing before I get started. Massive fitness equipment is on pre-order. It's shipping today. It's going to arrive, and orders are probably going to be shipping within about 4 weeks. So the adjustable benches are sold out. Please check this out. I put together some of the best quality equipment, home gym equipment in the industry. My goal was to be better than anybody on the market, and I think we've achieved that. But I'm just a small fry, right? Nobody knows about me. Nobody knows about the company. So if you want to get in early on one of the racks, if you want to get in early on a bar, please check it out. It's a pre-order, so you're not going to get it for about 4 weeks. But sales, I'm going to be honest, sales are slow. No one knows I'm there. So I'd appreciate you guys checking it out. I don't ask for much out of people, but if you want to check that out, please do. All right, let's dive into things. Just a reminder, that if you post a question before live starts, you get a chance to win a free t-shirt or hoodie. All right, Big Paul from Team Massive. Whoops, over there. Team Massive. Good morning, Team Massive. Any tips for staying on track on the weekend? Yeah, get your head out of your ass, Paul. I always forget my creatine. Paul, you got to set a reminder. Paul, do you have Alexa? Alexa, does Paul Velasquez have Alexa?
From rakat.co.uk.
Alexa, stop. I don't even know what kind of crazy. You got to set some sort of reminder, man. Get an app where you can set a reminder on your phone. Or use your you don't even need to do that. Use your timer on your phone to set a reminder, set an alarm. Right? Most phones you can set multiple alarms. And you suck at logging calories, Paul. You got to be consistent. You kind of have to log them in your head. I don't log them on paper. I don't log them in an app most of the time. I just kind of log them in my my noodle, my cranium, my big fat, thing up here. So I don't know. The only thing I can say to you is get your head out of your butt, Paul. Just get your head out of your butt and do what it takes. You work way too hard, to leave gains on the table. I'm a dad. What's going on? Good morning. Appreciate you joining in. I'll take second for the day. Yeah, Paul was in early. Going to be an amazing day. I hope so. The sun is actually out in Ohio, which is an amazing thing for Ohio. There's actually only a wispy. Can I say wispy as a man? Somebody check the rule book. Are men allowed to say wispy? I see a wispy cloud. Hey, Stein, good morning. Timothy, good morning. Good morning, all you massive folks. What's happening this weekend? I'm going to try to get in some mileage. My niece probably still going to need surgery, but I feel pretty good. I can walk, run, hike. I'm going to try to do that. I had a little bit of a back workout yesterday. Probably going to work out delts today or tomorrow, depending on how I feel. And that's about it for me. I'm going to stay super active. Timothy, at what point do you think slowed eccentrics become too much? Well, you don't purposely slow the eccentrics. You want to control the eccentrics. So guys that, like when you look at a lift, and for those that are keeping score at home, if you don't know what eccentric means, it's the moving or lowering of the weight back to the starting position. So if you curl, an eccentric is the lowering. If you do a lat pull down, the eccentric is the lowering or returning of the weight to the starting position. So if you look at a video or watch guys in the gym, if they have no control at all and they're just trying to knock out reps like they're doing a sprint, they're doing themselves a disservice. We don't have to purposely slow the eccentrics, but we want to control them because we want to get as much out of a set as we can. We're not chasing time under tension, but we're chasing overall set stress. Okay, to work hard, we want to chase stress. We want to make that set as hard as possible. So we're not overly slowing things to the point where it's ridiculous. We're controlling it back to the start. Is this camera doing all right now that I got my new setup here? I feel like I'm staring in the wrong spot. Let me just maybe adjust. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I guess we'll be all right. I guess we'll survive, right? So the question is, at what point are slowed eccentrics too much? If you're like focusing on counting the seconds rather than focusing on just controlling them and making the set hard. Does that make sense? Like if you start to obsess about time rather than just control and making the set hard, you're probably a little bit misguided. Does that make sense? I'm going to keep messing with the camera until I drive you guys nuts. HB, what's going on? Considering most gyms have dumbbells, why did we never see dumbbell only programs? I don't know, because they're not look, I have dumbbell only programs. I put them together at Muscle and Strength, back before the days of the cult of barbell. I think one of the main issues we're looking at here is that a barbell is much cheaper than dumbbells, right? Barbell, sorry, I'm just entertaining myself by saying dumbbells. A barbell is just generally cheaper than a set of dumbbells. So I think most gyms became a little bit more, barbell centric. A lot of the home gym stuff became a little bit more barbell centric because of that. I would love to have a rack with every dumbbell up to 150, right? I would love that. That would be like a dream. If I won the lottery, I'd just get dumbbells. Like, I'm just going to get dumbbells up to 300 pounds if they even make them. I'll never be able to use them, but man, that would look really sweet, wouldn't it? In your deluxe home gym that has a home theater, that has a juice bar, that has a protein bar, all that kind of stuff, right? Live in a fairy tale world. But I don't know. The thing is, like, a lot of people, when people furnish their home gyms, they have barbells, but not a lot of people have dumbbells, but not barbells. So I don't think there's as many people out there searching for dumbbell only programs, to be honest with you. And I think that's why I get some requests to build a dumbbell only program, and it's all right. I mean, you can do pretty good with it. You can do pretty good with dumbbells and body weight, but there's some things you're going to miss out on. Look, you got lunges and you got Bulgarian split squats for legs, but it's just not the same as having the ability to do squats and hack squats, leg press, pendulum squats, that sort of thing. All right. Do you still have a nice shrug video to reference? I know it sounds silly, but sometimes I wonder if I'm doing them right. Hold on, guys. I'm going to try to pull up a video, but I got to make sure when I do this on the YouTubes that I don't have any music in the background, because if you have any music in the background, like on gyms or whatever, YouTube has a fit, and they'll demonetize everything. And let me just see if this is one. Hold on. I'm trying to get a video up. Okay. This is a video of me doing shruggies. And, I think I can actually download this video and upload it straight. I'm going to do that. I'm going to download this video and upload it straight into the stream, and then we can look at it. I do power shrugs, so I like to focus on time under tension. I like to focus on heavy weight, and I like to focus on, really, really just doing some fun stuff. So let me see if I can upload the video file. It says like, all right. So this is a 50 rep set, just so no one has a heart attack. I'm trying to get to 50 rest pause reps here. And, it's not just reps. I got 315 on here. I'm going faster than I normally do on power shrugs because I was trying to get as many in as I could. And then take a little bit of a 10-second break. I think I'm doing 50s or 100s here. Now, there's a little nuance you're going to see. When I do shrugs at normal speed, I lower them down. After the rep, they come down, then I lower them down a couple inches, and then I shrug up again. I don't know if you can see this once the reps start. Once I get back to lower speed. Watch when the bar comes down. The bar will come down here. And then before I do a rep, I'll drop the bar 1 to 2 inches and then shrug up. That's just something I actually am aware of. I did shrugs yesterday, and it's something I'm very aware of. So watch it. Okay. Can you see down, 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 down even further, down even further, down. So that's kind of how I do shrugs. I do the rep, and then I lower it down a little bit more, and then I shrug it up. So I hope that helps a little bit. These are super fast, and I don't normally perform reps this quickly unless I am doing, this is like a 50 rep, rest pause set. So it's more like a survival thing. All right, Timothy Lynn. When live plays where I live, it'll be midnight, so I won't be able to catch it. Just wrapped up my second 3-hour ball practice of the week. Going to head off to sleep. Have a good night, and I appreciate your support as always. Using the rep goal system for up to about a good 12 weeks now, I find that the system works quite well, but I'm considering using a different progression scheme on deads and flat bench. Check out the threes protocol. If you search progression on my channel, I have a PDF where I have progression. You can head over to my website, superlivingtoday.com, search progression. I think it's in the tools in the tools tab on the menu, and my progression system is in there. I don't know if it's free or $4.99. I really can't remember, but I know it's dirt cheap. Deads have been programmed as a 4x5, and benches. Just check out the threes protocol. That's what I have most of my clients on. That'll serve you well. Really like the simple progression scheme for everything else. Good luck, man. Just check that out. Let me know what you think. 3 days grace back in the gym. After, what were you doing? Arm wrestling, leg wrestling? Probably a dumb question, but are cereals healthy? Generally, no. If no, then please go into some detail. A cereal, most of these processed, now outside of oatmeal, which is a real food. And obviously, if you're in the store, you're going to have packaged oatmeals, which have flavorings and additives and preservatives, but they're not bad. There could be worse, right? But a cereal is a Franken food. It's made from, usually it's got processed sugar stuffed into it, which is the worst. Obviously, we know sugar is one of the worst things you can eat, processed sugar. No nutritional value, plays havoc on your insulin levels, usually drives more hunger. And it's just not good for you. And cereals usually have some kind of a refined flours or processed flours, which are just trash foods. And there's a reason they have to fortify these cereals, I believe, especially with B vitamins, because there's no really nutritional value in them. And if you have to fortify a food, you probably should not be eating the food. Cereal is trash food. It's trash. It's garbage. I don't care what fake, phony American Heart Association nonsense, good heart healthy. It's nonsense. You shouldn't be eating it. You just should not be eating cereals, right? It's time to grow up and move out of the diabetes era and the obesity. This stuff is just crap food. There are much better choices. Eat your Greek yogurt, eat berries, eat oatmeal. You can make protes. All you do with protes is you add a little bit of water and protein powder and let it sit overnight. And it's great for you. It's just protein oatmeal. But cereal should be off, like cereal and Pop-Tarts. We should really not be feeding our children cereal and Pop-Tarts. It's bad. It's not healthy. And there's big profit in this stuff. So they're going to frame it and manipulate us to believe it's healthy, but it's not. It's not on the board. You should be eating eggs for breakfast. If you're going to eat bread, eat like an Ezekiel bread, like Killer Dave's or whatever. Something that is a sprouted bread. Eat eggs. Eat a sprouted bread. I ate turkey bacon. I know it's not real bacon, but I'm trying to reduce the calories. But you can get chicken sausages for breakfast. You can get turkey sausages. There are things that are much better choices for breakfast to start the day. But cereal, toss it. Anything with processed sugar in it And anything with a, more than an ingredient or two, you probably shouldn't be eating it. Also, when programming full body, how do you set up the order of squat, bench, dead, horizontal, vertical rows? It really depends. Usually when I'm doing a full body, you have 3 workouts, A, B, C, and I'm assuming B is on Wednesday, just for argument's sake. So B, I usually stick the old deadlifts right in the middle. Squats, you can lead off on Monday or Friday, right? And then I usually put bench as the leading on the other day, just because everybody loves them some bench. And what I do is usually I alternate between a push and a pull. So if I have bench on Monday, I'm going to do a row, a vertical or horizontal row next. And then I'll do a vertical press. So you have a horizontal press. And then I'll do a horizontal or vertical row. And then I'll do a vertical pull. And I kind of work my way through those until I get all 4 in, alternating between rows and presses, and work your legs and your deadlifts in where it makes sense. You got to lead off the workouts with those because they're big hitters, and then fill in the gap everywhere else. HB. For someone with a basic home gym setup, could a belt squat machine be an alternative? It could. It's so pricey, and man, I really like the leverage squat. There are, I'm going to be coming out with what I call the bulldozer arms, which fit any rack. But some people call them the jammer arms. But there's a setup on some of them where you can do a belt squat without paying for a whole belt squat, thing. I don't know, man. Like when looking at home gym equipment, when I look at the cost of a belt squat, I kind of panic a little bit. I've tried belt squats in gyms. Here's why I panic. I've tried belt squats in gyms. Not all of them feel good. So to spend that kind of money without getting to test the machine, I'm a little bit nervous about. Yvonne, how's it going, Yvonne? Good morning. Welcome to the party. Big Bob Fish. Do you track fiber? No. I don't use a fiber supplement. I don't know. I don't know why. I focus on animal-based and plant-based, and I get in plenty of fiber. I just don't worry about it. I think there's a lot of fiber hype. I do. And there's also conspiracies against fiber out there. And, I don't have time to dive into everybody's conspiracy of the day, right? So I know with like things like fiber and water, there's aspects or there's pools, pockets, right, of folks in the fitness and nutrition community that over focus on hydration and over focus on fiber. I've seen people like over focusing on hydration, carrying around their water jug, and I'm not making fun of them, but you really don't need to overhydrate. Hydration is good, right? You want to be hydrated, but this overhydration, forcing yourself to like drink pools and pools and pools and oceans of water, and it's a little bit overboard, pun intended. Pirate over, sea, high sailing the high seas, pun intended. I don't worry about it. I eat my fruits and vegetables, and I'm fine. I'm good. All the stuff, like if you're eating a simple sugar, like a cereal, as a question before, that's just made from processed crap. There's really no, fiber in it unless they add something in. If you're eating a fruit or vegetable, there's other stuff other than the carbs, and that's the important thing. So. If you're not eating your vegetables, honestly, if you're not eating your plant-based foods, honestly, you need to do so. I don't want to hear your excuses. Find some that you like. It's not that hard. There's a billion choices. When people talk about eating their veggies, right, they tend to be like, I got to eat cauliflower. I got to eat broccoli, right? Eat your veggies. The first thing we think is cauliflower, broccoli, and carrots or stuff like that. No. Don't think of like eat your veggies. I want you guys to think of it like eat your plant-based choices, okay? Plant-based choices. So I get a 3 fruit blend, a frozen blend from, and I like frozen fruits and veggies because they don't spoil. I tend to spoil a lot of fruits and veggies just because you don't know when you get them at the store, whether they're going to go bad. I've gotten mushrooms and, they can go bad the next day. They can get fuzzy the next day. So I like to get frozen a 3-berry blend. I mix that with my Greek yogurt. And I typically do jalapenos for veggies. Things you wouldn't think of. Like you think of broccoli, you think of carrots, you think of cauliflower. I go with jalapenos, I go with onions, I go with mushrooms, I go with tomatoes. Yes, tomatoes are a fruit, but we're just talking plant-based stuff here, right? Avocado. I like baby bok choy because it's a little I wouldn't say it tastes better. It's pretty tasteless, but spinach tends to wilt and get all slimy. Bok choy is just a little bit easier to just chop up and toss some greens in your meal. John Paul, is 3 to 5 reps on weighted chins enough? No, it's certainly not for novices. There's no reason to be training in that low rep range, none at all. We don't do linear progression. Linear progression's a no-no. We don't just try to add 5 pounds every week. We're not getting the most out of sets that way. We want to push for max safe reps. That's way too low. That's kind of in the ego lifting, zone. We shouldn't be that low for hypertrophy. You need to get to the 10 to 12 range on chins. Make sure you're getting full extension, pushing sets for max safe reps. Then you're going to get the most out of it. Big Bob Fish, fiber. God dang it. How many funny typo stories? Yeah, my whole life's a funny typo story. I literally, those of you guys unaware, I was an editor in the fitness industry, a writer and an editor for most of my, last 16 years, 15 years. And I have literally written over 1,000 articles, the equivalent of, and you can go over to Team Massive. Whoops. You can go over to Team Massive right there. And that's teammassiveiron.com. And I have a lot of my stuff over there. You can really see there's a huge volume of stuff. And as an editor, I've edited over 10 million words. Not kidding. So what I do, I get so many Instagram DMs, so many YouTube comments, so many emails, on and on and on, that I tend to type, hit enter, and then correct, right? So I do it all the time, and autocorrect is always messing with me. And a lot of times I'll make a post on Instagram, and I'll go back like 2 hours later. I'll be like, oh, look, yeah, all the typos. Thank you. Because as an editor, I tend to write first and then edit later. That's kind of what you're taught as a writer, is to write. Don't edit as you write. Go back and edit later. So what I typically do, I'm in such the habit as a writer of writing, enter, and then post, and then, oops, I got to go back and edit, right? So I do that all the time. It might sound silly, but I'm an extremely fast typer. One of my ninja secrets, just because I've spent so many years writing, that I am a lightning fast typer. And I'm constantly getting stung by autocorrect. Rico, what's going on? I got to take a little bit of my favorite supplement, ibuprofen. Didn't get the best sleep last night. I feel all right, but I got a little bit of a minor headache. All right. How to deal with the shoulder pain impingement. I guess it depends on the degree. First thing you need to do is see a doc. because I have a minor impingement. One of my traps sits higher than the other. I don't get pain from it. Okay. So I'm just like a stubborn, typical stubborn man. I'll go get it fixed when something falls off, right? But if you're at the point where you have pain, you got to get that checked out, man. That's the only thing I can say. Eric, the beard of redness. What's going on, Eric? Happy Friday to you. Dr. AJ. Hola, buenos dias. Hello, good morning. Good morning, Carlton. Carlton, you on the road today? Carlton is a client of mine, truck driver. Soy sauce banana. Is it normal to keep progressing on leg extensions? Every lift is different, especially on these two. Like you're at the hands of the leverage that was of these machines, right? You can't control, how they were built, and the quads are much bigger and beefier than leg curls. So yeah, you're gonna have different rates of progression on everything, on every lift, on every different muscle group. I've increased mine with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but can't make it work with curls. So that's way too low. I would not use that on leg extensions and leg curls. That's way too low. For lifts like that, you need to get your reps up. That's your best bet for progression. Greg, what's your go-to tunes when you are slinging weight? I have lately I've been listening to a lot of the Melvins, just kind of working my way through their collection. And I'll share my Spotify if I can get it up without, I just said get it up. If I can get the website up. So let me see if I can share the screen. Where are you at, screen? So that's kind of my home screen for, let me see if I can get my face out of here, make it bigger. That's my home screen. And the metal mix is what I listen to mostly when lifting. You can see I've been listening to the Melvins lately. Car Bomb, I like some songs by Car Bomb. Don't be intimidated by the name. Mathcore. And I don't know why it has like punk mix, Metallica mix, Slayer mix. I don't usually go to those. Rock mix, I don't know. I do like classic jazz a lot, so you can see I listen to that. So that is my go-to. The metal mix is my go-to while lifting. Eric, you talked about 3 to 4 days a week being the sweet spot, correct? But that people can make progress on 2 days, correct? Can you elaborate on that? Well, we always have to focus on what we can control. So there might be periods in your life where you simply can't, for whatever reason, lift 3 or 4 days a week. It just happens. It happens to me. And the more adult you get, the more chaos can hit. Like, I got a 10-day cold. And then we had the winter apocalypse hit and our pipes froze. And we were out without plumbing for like 10 days. And I had to attend to plumbers and plumbing and all this kind of stuff. And my life was chaos and there was little lifting. It just happens, right? So not much you can do about it. A 2 a day forces you to make decisions. You probably have to cut sets down to 2 per muscle or 2 per exercise, which is a good start. And so we're not going to be looking at weekly volume as much as we are balance. We still want to get some direct work in for our arms and our hammies and all that kind of stuff. But we're going to have to look at probably dropping the 2 sets per exercise and maybe making some tough choices on how we piece those together. Because you're probably going to, if you're going to do 2 days a week, you're probably going to have to work out 75 minutes a day to even make that feasible. So I've had 2-day workout plans. Let me see if I can find one, Eric. 2-day Steve Shaw. Let's just search Google. 2-day simple AB split and muscle and strength. And I'll pull that up. We'll see if we can see that. Okay, so this is one I wrote probably, I don't know, a long time ago. I'll share the screen. This is let me move Eric's question out of the way so we can see that. And I'm hiding back here. I'm hiding over here. Now I'm hiding down there. Now I'm hiding up here. Sorry, just being silly. So this is an old one, but you can see it's got 3 sets. What I would do is and ignore this. I made this 15 years ago. There's things I would change, right? So I would drop things to 2 sets. And I got 14 sets per exercise. I'd probably bump 14 sets per workout. I'd probably bump that to 16 or 18. So that would leave probably 8 exercises is going to be enough. That's going to involve a lot of time in gym, even though it's only 2 sets per exercise. So drop these to 2, and then we'd have to balance it out a little bit and add in some other work. I'm not just sure if that helps, Eric. Would it be good for in-season athletes? Absolutely. An athlete that is in season wants to maintain their strength and muscle. You know, you can't go in season. I don't know how they train athletes, but I'm telling you how they should be training athletes is that they don't want to lose muscle and strength. They also don't want to pick up any cumulative fatigue or punishment from lifting weights during the season. So they want to hold steady, and they want to kind of do the minimum they can to hold steady. And again, I'm not saying this is what they are doing. I'm saying this is how they should be doing it. If I was a strength coach for a sport, I wouldn't be pushing for PRs unless it's an easy steal on a rep. And I'd probably be doing the minimum amount of work to maintain strength and muscle. Zachary, when beginning a bulk after a cut, how long does it usually take for the extra calories to work in your favor? Immediately. Food is very anabolic, and if you've been in a cut for a while and you start to, add calories, you're going to get right back in it. You're right back in the game. The body's going to respond, to the stimulus. You're going to be able to train harder. You're going to have more glycogen in your muscles, probably more electrolytes, probably more carbs. You're going to feel better, feel fuller, and you're probably just going to perform better. So it's going to start working right away. Soy sauce nanner. I've gotten used to asking for a spot over the last month. Good. However, I feel like I may be rushing my set because someone is actually paying attention. Don't do anything silly. I mean, don't rush it. Just be polite. Okay. Be polite. And what I would say is, I'm sorry it took so long. And as long as if you have the voice in your head when dealing with people, like, I'm afraid this takes too long, then simply say, hey, I appreciate it, and sorry if it took so long. If you do that, people will feel like you actually give a darn about them as people and their time, that you actually value his time, her time, whatever it is. So when you're dealing with people and you're worried that you did something to wrong them in any way, and this is life advice, not just lifting advice, then simply say what's in your head. Hey, I'm sorry. It doesn't have to be like a Abraham Lincoln speech or anything, right? But like, hey, I appreciate you spotting me. That's a thank you. Sorry if it took too long. So you're actually showing like you value their time. Does that make sense? Big Zachary Barker. Would it make sense to load up on calories before your first training session? Nah, ain't gonna make much of a difference. If you are coming off a cut, I guess it depends on, are you going to have a kind of a cheaty meal and then go back into normal? I'm not against that. Look, if you're doing like a 4, 6, 8 week cut and you want kind of a bigger day, a big cheater, like, man, I'm going to have some beers and I'm going to have some nacho cheese, right? That's okay. Just if you're cutting, maybe build in a couple extra pounds on your cut so you can earn that. Like, you don't want to do a mini cut of 10 pounds and then do a bloat lord day of gaining 5 pounds, right? So, but there's no need to overcomplicate things. Everything will slide back into the groove nicely. Different type of question, but do you consider bodybuilders athletes? Well, we have the sport and we have the activity, okay? We have competitive bodybuilders, and there's all different types, and we can get ourselves into a big world of hurt here if we generalize and put all of them in the same soup pot, right? We can't do that. You have IFBB. They do athletic things to build their body, but I think an athlete is more somebody that is participating in an action in their sport, right? So like a spelling bee isn't an athletic sport. I don't know. I'm just thinking through things here, and don't hate me if you disagree, because it's not life or death. Bodybuilders, what they're doing is very, very physical in nature, and it involves a lot of discipline and a lot of moderation. So I have nothing but respect for them, but it doesn't make them good athletes inherently. Does that make sense? So I know a lot of bodybuilders that are also very athletic. They do a lot of not IFBB pros, of course. That's a whole different circus that I'm not going to get into. And look, I'm going to be honest. You want my feeling about that level of body? I have people that I respect that are up there. And I hate to generalize, but it's just a death march sport. It's just an extremist sport. And I'm not judging. They can do whatever they want. BC Crow or B Crow. Sorry. Any preference on dumbbell lunges? Standing, walking, reverse. I like to do alternating. I don't like to do walking because I find personally, this is just my opinion, I can get in a better rhythm when I'm doing alternating, right? I feel like I can get in a good rhythm where I'm walking. There might be distractions. There might be a boogie on a piece of gum on the carpet. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? You're outside. There could be a hunk out of the pavement or whatever, wherever you're at in your driveway, your home gym driveway, whatever. I like to get in a rhythm with mine, so I like to do alternating in place. And it really doesn't matter. It's up to you as long as it's safe, steady, and you enjoy it. Big Eric, the beard of redness. For someone like me who's getting to the end of that beginner phase, what would be a good goal to add to bench? In the next year for you, Eric, I would like to see 50 pounds on your bench, 40 on your overhead press, 50 on your squat, and 75 on your deadlift. Minimum. So that's this year. Every 3 to 4 month bulk, at least 15 pounds on your bench, 10 on your overhead, at least 15 pounds on your squat. My chair is going south. And I don't know, maybe 20 on your deadlift. Should be consistent plus ones, fairly consistent plus ones. That's really what you want to look for, fairly consistent plus ones. Soy sauce banana. How much experience does one need, and what qualifications do you think would be a minimum to get into coaching others? It depends on what you want to do. There's so many different levels of coaching. I am not, like, I've spent my life creating workouts and analyzing workout form. So there are a lot of guys trainers that can coach, right? But it depends on how you want to coach. You have to know your lane and what you're good at and what you're not. And there's a lot of coaches out there that are not. Oops, sorry for bumping the microphone. I'm not sure if you guys heard that. There are a lot of coaches out there who are not form experts. And that's not a dig at them. That's just not their expertise. Like Athlete X is not a form expert. And that's not a slam on Athlete X. But I can tell when I watch a squat and deadlift, he doesn't understand the mechanics of the lift. And, if I don't understand the mechanics of a lift, I'm not going to correct it, right? Because that's just ego nonsense. The best thing you can do is watch every form video online and start to make yourself critique things and look for cues. It's a long process. It's like learning a martial art. It's going to take time. You don't want to get anybody injured, and you don't want to make up stuff. So over time, if you get familiar with a couple form cues on squat, then you can start to teach those, but only teach what you know. Like, I don't care about qualifications, NASM, SMASM, SMISM, JISM, whatever. I don't really care about that stuff. I don't. Because it doesn't mean shit to me. No disrespect. I'm not saying somebody with a NASM, SMASM, JISM qualification, it doesn't matter. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm saying you need to learn form. You need to learn programming. You need to learn client psychology. And I'm not saying like we become master manipulators, but we need to understand some of that over time. So we really need to work on that. What do I mean by client psychology? There's something, let me give you an example. It's called deflection. Hey, man, you get a chance to weigh in today? Oh, I got training this week at work. Okay, so what? That's called a deflection. This legit happens in coaching. It does. Hey, man, you get a chance to weigh in? I got training this week at work. That has nothing to do with the question. That's a deflection. So when you see that, you can't assume. We do not assume there was somebody who's trying to skirt the question. But when we get deflected away from the answer, we need to go back to the answer. We need to train the client that I'm not going to stop asking the question until I get the answer. And I'm not going to be rude about it. I'm not going to be a dick about it. But if this legit happens to me, Monday and Friday weigh-ins, I get this from a couple clients every week. Some answer, that's a deflection. Hey, you get a chance to weigh in? Could be a non-answer. That's a deflection. Maybe if I hide, he won't ask the question again. Or I have training at work. Okay, I got that one. Great. You get a chance to weigh in this morning. Like, look, weighing in involves everybody gets up and goes pee-pee right out of bed. All you need to do from there is step on the scale for 2 seconds and get off. So anybody that forgets, but deflection is a psychological thing. I don't know psychology. I'm not a master, psychoanalyst, but I know what deflection is. When somebody tries to deflect the question, like Wonder Woman with the bracelets, right? Bing, like the sound effects, right? Bing, and deflecting the bullets coming at them. That's deflection. And you need to understand sometimes a client will push back because they want, it's kind of like a child throwing a tantrum. It's not a tantrum. That sounds extreme. But you will get clients that will try to push back in a childish type of way to make you stop asking things, to make you stop pressuring them to do the right thing. And you have to understand when they're doing that. Like, I can't lose weight no matter what. My age, my metabolism, right? Just kind of trying to create a lot of noise to make the bad man stop. No, we're gonna be rational. We're gonna focus on things. We're gonna look at your calories. We're gonna see what adjustments we can make. So you have to really think through responses. You have to remember your job. When somebody does not answer your question, you have to return to the question, and you have to be polite. You have to build relationships. These are people we're dealing with. They're not robots. And not everybody's going to get it right away. That doesn't make them bad people, right? All right. Live starts now. So someone gets a free something or other, a free shirt or hoodie. And trying to give it to somebody new. I'm going to go with B Crow. B Crow. B Crow. B Crow. Hit me up on Instagram in my DM at Ben the Barman, or email me bendthebarman@gmail.com, and I'll hook you up. All right, where are we at? Big Bill Monte. Happy Friday. Thanks for joining in, settling in this quick mini cut, and transitioning your custom plan. Good luck. Let me know how it goes, and if you need any adjustments, Mako, sorry. How soon after a hard workout does a large meal not help? It'll always help. We're not that fragile, right? There's not like a tipping point. It's all about the big picture. So don't worry about it. In other words, if I do a heavy upper lower, there's a food I eat on Wednesday. This is way overthinking. I'm not being disrespectful, but this is way into the realm of overthinking. Keep your calories consistent on a daily basis, as consistent as possible. Keep your protein is consistent, train hard, and everything takes care of itself. I don't like getting into theoreticals, and because this stuff really doesn't matter at all. It's trying to find a piece of dirt in a snowstorm. None of this matters at all. What matters is just nutritional consistency and hard work. Big Bill, any plans to do the squat seminar like the bench one? Well, I put out a bench seminar, and no one wanted in. So I'm gonna record them, but I'm just gonna give them to Team Massive members and offer them, if anybody wants them on the website as well. I don't know, $19.99, something like that. Sandro, hello, sir. How my workouts are reasonable in a single session? How do you know your workouts are reasonable? When you follow a workout that I put together, when you follow the advice on this channel. And to say, how do you know whether a workout is reasonable, it requires a lot of information. So just start watching every video on this channel. That's all I can tell you. Sean, sorry, I don't know why I said Shane. I looked at Sean, said Shane. I don't know. Maybe I could have said Ted Nugent. How's it going, Sean? Sandro, is creatine really? No, nothing is necessary. The only thing that's necessary is good nutrition and hard work. It's not necessary for getting big. It has value. It has a lot of proven benefits. It's scientifically studied, can help improve brain function, energy, but we're not talking dramatically. We're talking slightly. But why not go with the slight advantage? Which is better? There's no way to answer that. Every exercise is different. And it depends on what exercise you're doing and how it feels for you. This magical rep range stuff is completely against everything I stand for and everything I teach. There are no magic rep ranges. Everything is exercise specific. Regarding slow eccentrics, is there any benefit of really going? No. No, on shoulder, like on a lateral raise, if you're going to fight it, first off, you have to fight it at the elbow, not at the weight. If you're fighting it at the weight, then you're going to really put yourself in a rough leverage position. You have to fight it at the elbow, but you don't want to do that. It's just placing extra stress. Some exercises, the eccentric places too much unwanted stress on a joint. So I don't really. I control it. I go up and I control it down, but you don't want to try to force it. You want to control it. Mike, I'm 120. You can bench 405. Yeah, I'm sure you can. And I'm the devil on TikTok. Right. The whole TikTok thing cracks me up. You know, if anything, you know, I believe people should have higher standards. So it's not that I don't believe people under 180 will bench 315. I just said it's hard. You don't see that many under 180. There's a lot of people over 180. But I didn't even make the statement. Another strength coach made the statement on a video of mine or on an Instagram comment or post. He said, it's super rare to see someone under 180 bench 315, and it is. It simply is. But that doesn't mean it's impossible. And the videos I made were made to show you how to increase the odds. So, bull in a veggies shop. Have you ever tried on the minute? Yeah, I think I invented them. I'm not even kidding. I was one of the early guys in. Let me see. Everything you guys can possibly imagine. I was putting together workouts. This is a workout from 2014, so 10 years, almost 10 years ago, from Muscle and Strength. Volume cluster. Let me hide my noodle there. Volume cluster and strength training, and it was updated 2020, but I wrote it a long time ago. And before that, I did rest pause work where I was doing cluster work. Rest pause was more cluster work. It's basically the same thing. And what we got? Cluster. What are the clusters? They edited this, so I'm trying to see if they edited it, and took out the. Where's the information about the clusters? It looks like they edited this workout. Oh no, here are the clusters: 8 sets of 6 on pull-ups, 8 sets of 4 on deadlifts. This is just an example on back, and 6 reps arbitrary. Would I do 6 reps on seated cable rows? Probably no. Probably higher a little bit, but yeah, I've done cluster work. I've put together many cluster workouts. On the minute, though, you can do it on bench, okay? On squats, so you're going to spend most of your time racking and unracking, and it's going to be harder. That's going to be more demanding than the actual work to a point. Because if you do, say, 5 reps of squats, and you wander to the squat rack, you rack it, you sit there, you can do it. It's all right. But you're not going to be exactly on the minute, because if you're exactly on the minute, then half your time is going to be racking and unracking. Not half, but you know what I'm saying. Deadlifts, I do a 10-minute block. So on deadlifts, I teach a 10-minute block. Not for everybody, but a lot of my clients do this. And you do a single or double, wait until you feel human again, and then another single and double for 10 minutes. So yes. Is losing 10 kilos in 2 months. Yeah, that's reasonable. That would be a good rapid mini cut. I'm all for that. The only recommendations is eat high protein. Don't panic if you lose a slight amount of muscle or strength. It'll come back when you're done. Big Josh, Megaroids. I believe uncontrolled eccentrics are harder on the joints. It depends on the exercise, Josh. It depends on the exercise. Like there are some when gravity is involved, like the deadlift, and on a less controlled eccentric is easier on the joints. A pendley row, less controlled. So lifts that have a lot of gravity and heavy weight involved, are generally easier on the joints. But you're right. People that do all this jerky, worky stuff, they're not only missing out on their sets, but they're also placing a lot of stress on their body that's unwanted. We're being more violent for the stretch position. Yeah, it is. Like lat pull downs, they're usually like if people get jerky and fast on lat pull downs or pull ups, they're usually placing a lot of stress on, they're usually stopping halfway down, placing a lot of stress on their biceps and all kinds of stuff. It's just silly. It's just really missing a lot of the good stuff that comes with hypertrophy training. All right, guys, we are an hour in. I'll stay on as long as you have questions. Before I continue, please head over to Instagram. Follow me at Ben the Barman. You can follow me at Twitter, Tweeter, Twatter, Tutor. I post there, I don't know, once a day. I don't really follow Twitter, Twatter much. I just post there. And my website, superlivingtoday.com. There's a coaching tab. I have a coaching app. I also have tons of workouts. If you check out the workout tab, I have books, hardcover books, tons of PDFs, courses, all kinds of things over there, all kinds of resources. We have Team Massive, which is teammassiveiron.com. We have Massive Fitness Equipment, The Massive Fitness. If you need something for your home gym or you want a quality piece of equipment, please check out themassivefitness.com. I'm a startup company. I'm a small company. I got stuff coming in. Pre-orders are available. This is what the website looks like. Please at least check it out. It's themassivefitness.com. We have racks. Okay, we have 3 different styles, the Leviathan, the Crusher, and the Dominator XL. These things are top quality. We put together everything we could. The best of everything from bolts to steel quality. You can see even the feet on here on these things. Let's take a look. So these things come with a landmine attachment and dip bars and a pull-up, a multi-grip pull-up, okay? And you can see the extended floor runners with reinforced bracing. That's top-of-the-line stability. Compare that to competitors' racks. Multi-grip pull-up bar standard, right? Landmine attachment and box safety standard. I have top-quality equipment over here, and check it out. Pre-orders are available. The adjustable bench is sold out. The flat bench has a wider pad. It has a wider pad. When I do dumbbell bench and I lean back, the pad's so narrow on my existing bench, it's annoying. This is built to last. Lifetime warranty on quality. And you also have this barbell, this E-coat. This thing is a work of art, okay? This is made to take a beating. We test this stuff. We don't just say we test this stuff. This is a beautiful, beautiful piece of equipment for your home gym. Machined to perfection and absolutely built to last. Center knurling for squatting. So guys, check that out. Pre-orders are available. It'll be shipping in about a month. All right, let's get back to questions. Let's flip the question. Is gaining a kilo a month for 2 pounds, 2.2 pounds a month? Yeah, it's all right. There's nothing wrong with it. As long as you're not going over like 220 in body weight, you're fine. Type O negative happy fry tog. Over halfway through my cut. Can't wait. Push on with it and get as aggressive as you can stand. That's my best advice for you. Ryan Hayden, big Ryan Hayden, does switching from 3x5 to 3x3 when the weight gets heavy? Depends on the lift. It's not a lot of volume, especially on bench or squats. So I'm not certain I would do that. That'd probably be okay for deads. But you're going to need more volume on your bench and squats if you do that. Nicholas, when we are in a surplus, is it normal to have maintenance days? No. Or where your weight stays the same. I thought you were going to say calorie-wise. Yeah. I mean, water fluctuation is normal. And there's no way around water fluctuation. Unless you have exactly the same habits every single day. Sleep, stress, water, sodium, electrolytes, meals. You're going to have water fluctuation. It doesn't take that much difference in water to cause a water fluctuation. That's why we want to weigh in at least twice a week, and we want to look for trends. Joy, I didn't skip my ads to buy you a drink. Didn't skip my good. Thank you. I get what you're saying, and I appreciate that. It's funny though, the YouTube. I don't get a lot from YouTube, because I'm not a big fish, and I have a coaching business, which, any pennies I get from YouTube are just like a small little bonus. But YouTube seems to have been going down and down and down just a little bit. I don't want to say that loudly because I don't want them to, cancel me, right? Nicholas, that's not me. That's just revenue in general from YouTube. 200 to 300 surplus or deficit is hard to track accurately. You got to weigh in frequently. We don't worry about surpluses or deficits. We worry about the scale weight. Is the scale going where the scale needs to go? And if not, we bump or increase. So we don't worry about, it isn't hard to track accurately because we're tracking calories. It doesn't matter. Like if you're at 3,200 and that's a 200 surplus, it's not hard to track accurately because it's a 200 surplus, right? If you're guessing and not tracking, then yeah, it's going to be hard to nail, but you need to be tracking. Forget neat, man. Forget all that. You're trying to micromanage things. There's not that much variance in our day-to-day life. There really isn't. You're just kind of I'm saying this politely, Nicholas. You're overthinking things. Weigh in twice a week. Have a consistent calorie intake. And I've never seen any issues with NEAT or, some clients when they will go out and do 20,000 steps. God bless them, eat a little bit more that day. But daily activity levels don't change that much where it's going to make much of a difference. Just keep your calories the same and adjust as needed. Patrick, look at the bigger picture. What do you think about Yates rows? With torso more upright, as long as your torso is not swing when you're doing them. If you look at a video of a Dorian doing the Yates row, and I passed one along to somebody this week, and let me see if I can find the specific video. You see his torso does not, whoops, I got to turn down the old volume. You see his torso does not move. And let me see if I can present the screen. Can we see it? I'm going to move this. Where you at? Okay, so let's watch Dorian here. Watch him do the row, and you're going to see his torso doesn't move much. Hang tough. I don't think it's a long video. I think he's talking about torso sway here. So that's what you want to see. You don't want to see torso sway. So let me kind of fast forward it a little bit. Oops, the video is almost done. The video is almost done. So I know there is a clip in here of him doing them. I'm going to not look at the shaky cam. But watch his torso. It doesn't move. See, very little head movement. Couple inches max. That's what you want to see. Does that make sense? All righty. Sandra, what's good round max on 3 big lifts for a 2-year-old lifter? 225 on bench for reps, 275 on squat for reps, 365 on dead for reps. It's a little bit lower, but you should at least be able to hit that. What's your thoughts on 8x8? It's all right. I don't get caught up on set and rep schemes. I get caught up on progression. The only thing I don't like about it personally is that it's tedious to do that many sets. I've done it. It's tedious to do that many sets of an exercise for a long period of time. And it forces out some exercise variety, which I'm a big proponent of when it comes to hypertrophy. LV. Running the second bench, stimulate. I'm making 9 out of my 12 total chest sets barbell bench. Would a lack of variety be problematic? Not really. I mean, with the stimulate phase, a lot of the earlier sets are, they're just priming sets. So if you have an opportunity to fit in another chest exercise without, causing much of a time constraint, but that would be fine. Also, since only 2 out of these 9 sets are made for max F reps. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at. A lot of these are primer sets, so you might have room to fit in another chest exercise. It might not be a bad idea if you have the time. Barbell 4-4. Is the bottom range of motion on a chin up? Yes, you want to get all the way down. You don't want to stop yourself halfway down with your biceps. It always hurts me. Well, you don't have to go to the point where you're stretching your lats to the point of pain. But you want to go all the way down so your arms are pretty much straight. So if you have a video, I'd be willing to take a look at it just to make sure you're not going too low. Is any supplement worth buying? Absolutely. We just have to understand a supplement is a supplement, is not a magic pill. So they fill in the gaps. B12, D3, maybe fish oil, creatine. There's other stuff I take, brain formulas, nootropics. There's a lot of good stuff out there. Just hit examine and look at the research. Or just focus on healthy eating. If food's expensive, just focus on food. You don't need supplements. Just make sure you're getting enough sunlight for your vitamin D and enough plant-based choices to fill in the nutrient gaps. For background, you like to read real books? I like to write real books. I actually wrote children's books right early on. Yeah, I like to read real books. I like to read all them real books. I got real books everywhere. What do we got? Frame, thank you for the donation. At what point will I get diminishing returns gaining weight up to my bench? Was 90 kilos with a 145 bench, dropped 82 and lost 10 kilos. Not trying to get fat again. Well, you probably need to get in. What I would tell you to do is get in a cycle of gain 10 pounds, lose 10 pounds. You're going to be in a bulk doing that 9 months out of the year, which should be the best possible, one of the best possible ways to facilitate moving up in bench strength without getting fat. Does that make sense? Sandra, what's good bench press weight gain in a year? It depends on where you're at, but if your first year, probably 75, and after that 50. I don't know. Something like that. Ryan, can I get your thoughts on the split? Monday upper, Tuesday lower, Thursday push, shoulder focus, Friday pull. How do you know you have weak points? How advanced are you? I'm not saying you shouldn't do that, but I'm just asking how advanced. Because you should be, 4 days a week, you want to make sure you're training everything hard. So I have no issues with that. You got a rest day between Tuesday and Thursday. That's fine. Just make sure when you go in your lower, or if you're doing any deadlifts or back work, that your biceps are fresh. Matthew, I'm 45 this year and took your advice on bro splits. It's been a game changer, making progress and enjoying every session. I'm really glad to hear that, and that's wonderful news. Spreading out your workouts a little bit and getting in some rest in between workouts is a good thing, especially when you age. LKJ at 2, due to diminishing returns, if someone wants to maintain shredded state for summer and lose out on a couple months of bulking per year, yeah, you're gonna have the same similar physique. Most people should be cutting about 2 months out of the year anyway, unless they're really skinny, out of the gate. So it won't make any real issue. And do what you want. It's your life, right? Over the course of 5, 6, 7 years, it's not going to matter at all. Do what you want. Enjoy life. That's the point, right? So life first above lifting. Big Adam Crow, what's your thoughts on Grease the Groove? I think it's a lot of overthinking. If you find it valuable, go ahead. The only thing I learned from it in my time in the military is it gave me overuse injuries. So know this. There's a fine line between overuse injuries and, doing something like this. Something like this you can call it daily. Okay, you do something daily. I'm okay with doing daily forms of exercise. Don't overdo it to the point where you're encouraging overuse injuries. Does that make sense? Do you consider yourself to be dogmatic? I consider myself to be someone that studies the big picture. So a dogmatist in what we do would say, you must train to failure. Okay? What I do is look at the bigger picture. So I think in a sense, everybody, I'm a dogmatist about my philosophy. But being dogmatic is not willing to generally listen to something outside of your philosophy. My whole career has been editing articles on different things and being, asked to write articles on different things. So I don't want to have holes in my education, right? If somebody is worried about whether the 6x8 or 6x10 rep range is better, I'm going to be honest with them and tell them it doesn't matter. And I don't care if you got 58, 200 million studies. It doesn't matter in the real world. And someone might accuse me of being dogmatic about it, but I'm right. So, Ryan, our Grease the Groove guy is big. Grease the Groove, I don't know. It's just one of those hypey things that we have to be smart about. Sully HB, is it true that overhead press activates side delts? That's all I've done over the course of my career. And my side delts, really, I've relied on overhead press. I did BTN and then I moved to the front. To pretend that the side delts don't work during an over, I can feel them working. It's nonsense. Yes, a overhead press might be a little bit more front delt focused, but so is a bench press, right? I will tell you that I've never seen a heavy bencher with small front delts because the bench works the living heck out of the front delts. So if we try to use this logic, like don't do overhead presses because they work the front delts, so do bench. So what are you left with on presses? Do a wide spectrum of pressing, horizontal and vertical. You're going to get big side delts. You are. And anybody that doesn't understand that, I would say, is missing the bigger picture. I'm piss weak. Squat is, I don't know, what is that? 210 in pounds? No, use it absolutely right now. Use it absolutely right now. That'd be a big, that'd be a good protocol for you. Harut. Generally speaking, during cuts bulks is the last fat to go, the first to come back. Well, in men, we tend to have visceral, organ fat, and we tend to have belly fat and man boob fat. So yeah, it's going to be the same for men or women. The big areas where we store are generally going to be the first to come back. As an intermediate, whether I train 5 versus 12, it doesn't affect my rate of progressive overload. Why is this? It would over a long period of time if you would do a mathematical analysis. Simply math, it would over a long period of time. But a lot of this has to do with your attitude and right here, your drive. But if we did a mathematical analysis, it's easier slightly just because of more reps to add a rep with 12 reps than with 5. So you would hit a wall harder. The curves might go like this. It's hard to do this stuff. The curves might go like this, and then one might fall off. One might hit kind of a breaking point and start to fall off more dramatically. Rafael de Souza, at what age would you consider someone to be a middle-aged lifter? I don't know, man. There's a lot of young guys that walk around like I think middle age is more like a physical state, for me. I've seen guys in their 30s that look broke dick, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I didn't get to my strongest till I was close to age 50. And then I took up ultra running. I just feel normal. I don't think if you take care of yourself, I don't know. If you take care of yourself, it's kind of a non-question. Once you get in your 40s, maybe you're a true middle-ager. What do you recommend to someone who wants to start running a 5K a week while on a bulk? Number one, conversational pace. Never run above conversational pace. You want to be able to walk, run, hike, whatever you're doing at a conversational pace, meaning you should be able to hold a conversation with the person next to you. Okay. And it's okay to stop, and you don't have to run continuously. It's okay to walk, run. Run as far as you can at a conversational pace, then walk if you need to. Okay. Don't run to run fast. You say that most people can't get that good at pull-ups. Truth. But isn't that as an excuse? No, that's reality. Is Alpha Destiny very gifted at pull-ups? Yeah, absolutely. He works hard. I'm not discounting that. But A, there's a lot of overweight people. B, a lot of people without great leverages. It's not an excuse. They're just people. It's like saying certain lifters with bad limb links and leverages, that can't do certain lifts well, have an excuse. What's your excuse that you don't dumbbell row 180 by 10? Let me know. Not being confrontational, but right, we want to go down that road. But no, it's not an excuse. It's reality from what I see. More than any other lift, body weight stuff is very dependent on someone's existing weight and not so much dips, but more pull-ups. More than any other lift, it's in the coaching world, it's a troublesome lift. People just can't do a lot naturally. Some people have just limb links and leverages that are built much better for them. And they tend to be a lift of lighter guys. You tend to have to be really light to be really good at it. Doesn't mean you can't get good at it. I'm not going to be in it. Don't turn this into a TikTok video. Vedant, can I build an aesthetic physique? Absolutely. I would say the majority of my clients are using upper posteriors. Sully, did you build your side delts? Yep. Absolutely. 100%. Other than a few bulldozer laterals and side laterals. I never did upright rows. I only started doing machine shoulder presses very rarely the last 5 years of my training. And then it was just like if it was there, but super rare. Same from swimming. I use an upper lower. Swimming is fine. If you're going to work in swimming and running, I'd probably work it in twice a week at a time it made sense. Maybe have a day when you do swimming and running both. That would kind of probably work out really well. If you eat a high calorie cheat meal and you increase in weight, that's going to be a water weight. How long will the meal stay with you? If you have a spike, it's not going to be, unless you really do something binge eater-ish, it's not going to be more than 1,000, maybe 2,000 calories over. And that's going to involve a change of water weight. You're kind of poisoning your body to a degree, eating more electrolytes and carbs, and your body's going to recoil by pulling more water in your bloodstream and maybe storing more water, a little bit of inflammation, a little bit of digestive issues. In the day, back in the day when I used to hike a lot, I would eat a little bit more on the weekend. I wasn't binge eating, but I would have a little bit more on the weekend, and I would always be up 2 to 3 pounds on Monday, and by Friday it'd be gone again. Big Sam, why is it that after a cut, my bench went down to pre-bulk numbers? However, my dumbbell bench stayed the same. I don't know. It could just be that you're better built for that lift. I know the barbell presses are generally much harder. So I'm not really sure. I'd have to look at the numbers to see what is going on. Burnden, I'm back in the gym after a 6-month hiatus. My compounds are muscle memory, 6 months, a long time. So make sure you take like 2 or 3 months to get back up to speed. I would say within 4 months, you should be pretty close to where you were. Like I had 3 months off from COVID last year, and it took me like 3 or 4 months, but I was right back in the groove again. Asif, is there a compound movement for triceps long head? Well, there's a lot of really good movements for the triceps in general. You have close grips, you have PJR pullovers, you have skull destroyers, you have French press, single arm dumbbell over. I don't like to get into. I like to use 3 or 4 exercises for the triceps that I get a good feel on in general. So I have some of the bigger triceps you'll see. Some of that is obviously genetic, but just focus on exercises that feel really good and have a progression opportunity for you, and that the long head will grow just fine. Adam Crow, how about an A Crow? Yep, B Crow won the t-shirt, but sorry, A Crow. Big boy Raj, I can currently squat 315 for 5. That's very nice. Deadlift looks good. 1 year is it possible? Yeah. You're going to have to really get after it, though, and make sure your form is solid. But, yeah, you could. I've seen it before. When people say bodybuilding is just eat, sleep, train, that implies sleep is just important as food. Sleep is important, but but overrated for gains. I would say in the short term, yeah. I mean, I've had some of my best strength and muscle gains on restricted sleep. But I will say that during the times when I've had my best results, sleep definitely helped. So I'm with you, but, adding a little bit of extra bonus sleep is only a good thing. Fernando, greetings from Mexico. Greetings. What do you think of Jeff Alberts and his volume theory of 2 to 4 sets twice a week per muscle group? I don't like it. It's just like the hard gainer training. If you put somebody on it that's used to doing an average gym workout, they're going to see great results. So you'll get good results on it if your training kind of is mediocre right now. But in the long run, I would stick with something more conventional. Richard, your new screen looks great. Thanks, Richard. Just trying to play around with things a little bit and be a little bit more professional. Sandra, how many workouts are reasonable in a single session? How many exercises? I usually start with about 6 hard exercises or 16 to 18 hard sets, and then feel how that's going and adjust from there. Big Sam, do you think the decline bench is better? No, not really. I think the fear of shoulder health is way overblown, to be honest, Sam. The only people I see with shoulder issues have had crappy shoulder destroying bench form over the years. I think it's way overblown. Only have limited weight access at home. If I do 25, we'll be fine. Well, you got to focus. You have no other choice, right? I would work in some rest pause stuff, meaning restricted rest in between sets. So that's a good tool as well. And beyond that, I would probably have a longer term plan to get out of that situation. Big Mike, is it possible to control where you add weight during a bulk? No, that's where it's going to go for men. Belly and man boobs and love handles and lower back. Not possible. If it was, I'd be a billionaire, Mike. Sorry to say. Raphael, now that you are TikTok infamous, Greg needs to do a natty or not. Right, yeah. I took all the creatine. Pringle Cake was doing your bulldozer laterals the other day, and the gym owner was really intrigued. Hope I did them justice. If you're not sure, just send me a video. I love it because it's leverage friendly and it allows you to generate power. I love the feel of that exercise. Some people aren't going to get it. Some people are going to think it's cheating. I've heard some say that doing some movements add up over time and lead to injuries in the future. That could be possible with anything, depending on some people are more susceptible to injuries in certain areas, just genetically. The bigger concern is overuse. Like if you bench 10 sets every day, 5 days a week, you'd overworking, overtraining, not reaching the stage of overtraining, but doing too much of the same repetitive motion is not good on the body. Doesn't matter if it's running, doesn't matter if it's bench. It's going to catch up to you. There's a good chance it'll catch up to you. All right, where are we at? Clo. You said your wrists were 6.2 before. How did they grow? My wrists grew, adding muscle, adding fat, tendon connective tissue grew. Maybe a little bit extra bone thickness. You got to remember, we have connective tissues, which get stronger from all that heavy weight. And, I'm heavier body weight than I was at, 152. So, much stronger bones. I would say bigger bones. How would you approach training if someone has underdeveloped lower body and very developed upper body? I would not do anything different, because my philosophy is training everything from head to toe and getting it as strong and as big as humanly possible. And if you do that for 2, 3, 4 years, you should be up to speed. Now, if after 2, 3, 4 years you're not up to speed, then we might have to get a little bit more aggressive on the lower body. But first, I want to see that someone is aggressive on the lower body in a balanced program before we put them on a more unbalanced program. Does that make sense? Do large food corporations put chemicals in food they're designed to make you eat? That's what they do. Everything is designed to make you buy and eat. It's the packaging, where they place it on the shelves, how it tastes. It's not that they're inherently evil. Dog here. It's not that they're inherently evil, but it's designed to make you like it. That's how they make money. If something tastes like, you ever bought a snack, like a chip or something, and you try it, and you're like, Or you go to a restaurant, you try a meal. Excuse my honesty here. You try a meal, you try a snack, you're like, that tastes like ass. When you're at a restaurant, do you go back? No, maybe not. If it's a snack, do you buy it again? No. So natural selection, right? We start to select the stuff that tastes better, and these companies start to make food that um based on the stuff that tastes better. What's selling? Food evolution, right? Sweeter, spicier, things we can't stop eating. Joy, your equipment makes me want to go to a home gym. I wish more people would. I don't have that many units, so being a startup company is a little bit scary. So I wish more people would check it out. Matthew, I rotate through deadlift variations each week. Stiff, too many. You don't want to go more than 2 weeks out from kind of a deadlift variation, but I don't know. That's probably okay. If you have lower back pain, the first thing I would do is look at your form, and then you would definitely consider a trap bar. But lower back pain, rather than lower back soreness, if you have pain, I would definitely look at form. Bread and Gatorade, is there anything regarding training, diet, lifestyle, or anything else you would alter, optimize for someone running a cycle? I don't get into cycle work, man. I don't get in the world of steroids. I'm just a lifting coach. I know as much about anybody else. I know the names, right? I kind of know the doses because I've heard other people talk about dosages over the years. I don't even know about cycles, and I don't get in that world. I think hard training is hard training, to be honest with you. And as far as diet, I'm sure there's diet things that, these guys need to do differently. If I were going to run a megaroid cycle, I would make sure my diet's on point, my training's on point. That's all I'll say. But for natties that are trying to gain, I want their diet on point and their training on point anyway. So I'm no expert at it. Marshmallow. I'd love to buy equipment at some point whenever I move into a house. Just keep me in mind. That's all I ask. Just keep me in mind and spread the love. That's all I ask. And thank you. Big 8D. Can you look up the Reddit Push-Pull Legs program and tell us what you think? I have a feeling you will roast it. Oh, y'all trying to get Reddit after me. Oh, whoop, this is still going. Dorian Yates is still going. Let's see. Reddit Push-Pull Legs. There's a lot of I'm getting a lot of them, guys. The perfect push-pull legs, a linear progression push-pull legs. I'm getting a lot in Google. So you guys would have to send me the link. I don't know which is which. Do you think obesity rates in third world countries will keep rising? No, I don't think it'll ever go down. I think we've jumped the shark. I think we're in deep trouble. We made food cheaper and easier because we focus on calories rather than nutrients. Will we eventually get to a point where food is nutrients and not just calories and taste? I hope so. Will we see it in our lifetime? Probably not. Will we see a lot of people in this generation getting so big and health costs skyrocketing and a backlash against that? Yes. I think there's a saying, and I want to see if this is applicable, where hard times build strong men, and strong men create soft times, right? Because everything, hard men create soft times, and soft times create soft men. Soft men create hard times, and hard times create hard men, right? And it's kind of the cycle. Does that make sense? So we're in a soft time, and there's going to be eventually some backlash, and it's going to create harder men, harder culture. that's going to fight back against it. I don't think it'll ever go away. What proportion of tested bodybuilders, powerlifters at the highest level on that? 0. Well, hold on. There's a lot of natural powerlifting feds, right? So let me not become TikTok famous by saying something wrong. But IFBB is IFBB. There's tested and there's untested feds, and there's feds that are tested. You know what I'm saying? Like our federation is tested, and I know some federations that say they're tested that they're not tested. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they, so there's a whole spectrum. And, we have to be really, really aware of that. I don't get into, honestly, I'm about helping you guys reach your goals, and I don't care what anybody takes. All I care is if they cheat, right? If they're in a tested fed and they try to skirt the rules, then they're a cheater. But there are fake tested feds that say we're tested, but everybody on stage is on something. So I don't know what to think of that stuff. Dr. AJ, I live and work in third world countries. Each are different. Can't group them all together. That's true. Every culture is different. But we are trending towards weight gain. So it's as simple as that. And it's only going to get worse. If you have a situation where you feel you need to raise or lower volume, how would you adjust it? It's exercise by exercise basis. Unless you are very much in time constraints, and then you just drop a set per exercise. Pringle, other than squats and deads, what lifts do you find need the most? Oh, easy RDLs, Romanian deadlifts, and then barbell rows. But Romanian deadlifts, I would say Romanian deadlifts are botched more than squats and deads because, quite honestly, there's about 5 teachers out there, 5 coaches that actually, excuse my language, hide the kids, turn the volume down, I'm about to swear. There's about 5, and you can put this on TikTok because it's truth. There's about 5 coaches that know fucking anything about the RDL. Legit. I mean, the RDL is just like, go do an RDL. And outside of a couple of, the legit YouTube videos that no good form, trainers, coaches, they fucking know nothing about the RDL. It's not bending, right? It's not just bending at the waist. It's a botched lift, and that's not the lifter's fault. It's because of these trainers and coaches don't know the lift, and they don't know how to coach it. Your thoughts on the ideology that specialization is useless? It's not useless after you get to about 5 years because there are weak areas. If you use my philosophy, John, and you're trying to get everything as big and as strong as humanly possible, and we do that for 5 years, right? And we realize our calves kind of suck. I need to put more energy into my calves. I need to have a calf day, right? That could be the case. Because when you're balanced, everything gets equal attention. And sometimes some things need more attention, like traps. Like traps are something that might benefit from specialization. Doing power shrugs and behind the neck shrugs and dumbbell shrugs and static holds and all kinds of things. Calves, for example. Maybe abs. We don't have the ab thickness we want. So after you build a base, I think there's a case to be made that we could, some specialization might be a good thing. Why do people dedicate their lives to lifting when someone who trains only 3 to 4 days a week will make the same gain? It's very rare that anybody gets to natural potential. Somebody can put that on TikTok. I got to natural potential in 3 weeks. But it's super rare. It's difficult. It's not easy. It's not complicated, but it's not easy. So I never really trained more than 4 days a week. The guys training every day usually have to sacrifice something. Maybe they don't in the short run, but they're going to get beat up eventually. You can't sustain like these guys that are younger, yes, they can train more frequently, but as they get stronger, if they're working hard, it's going to beat the living crap out of their body, and they're going to have to pull back eventually or they're going to get injured. So could I train 6 days a week right now? Yes, but it comes with balance and experience, right? I would train less volume per day and I'd just be breaking things up and probably doing about the same weekly volume. So that's just something to consider. Johnny, loved your video on pendlay row. Thank you. Any tips for getting perpendicular to the floor? You don't want to get perpendicular to the floor. I'm more upright when I row. Oh, I see what you're saying. Johnny, send me a video. Send me a video, and some of this is limb lengths and leverages. It just is. You know, I have some clients with long legs, and they just have to bend their knees more. So, Johnny, send me a video to DM and Instagram, or email me, benthebarman@gmail.com. Sandro, should I increase weight, for example, when I'm doing reverse pec? You have to have a progression indicator. So it doesn't matter what your progression indicator is, but a progression indicator is a switch. When I hit this, then I will add weight. So you need that in the mix somewhere. Big Troy, client of mine. Hey, boss, do you get tired of the confrontation and histrionics within the muscle industry? Why can't people just agree to disagree? People like to go to war over everything, and it's kind of the way of the modern world. And I do not like stress. I don't have time for stress. I don't like to go to war. There are certain things worth going to war over, like all the different types of diets, ways of eating. I do not care as long as you're eating plant-based and animal-based. Even if you don't want to do animal-based, I don't care. It's your mouth. Put in it what you want. As long as you are taking care of yourself and it's healthy. That's the bottom line, right? To be healthy. We're in the health and fitness industry. I do not care what you eat as long as it is providing the nutrients to your body that creates a state of health, right? So some people spend their whole life going, the paleo diet really isn't the paleo diet because our ancestors like that. Like, who gives a shit, really? Like, who gives a shit? Right? I've seen lifters dedicate their whole fucking life to like trying to push the concept that a full body is better than this or that this dogma is better. Whatever. Right? Do your thing. I'm just not going to go to war with you. Like, people come to me and they're like, overhead press become a hot issue lately. There's some people that want to believe it doesn't work the side delts. And they just want to do laterals. And people ask me, what do you think, big, hairy, ugly dude? I will say this. I have my way. My way, which I like overhead pressing. I feel it's been beneficial because it's the only thing I've done for my side delts, really. And I feel doing a bunch of laterals, that's like icing on the cake. What should I do, big, hairy, ugly dude? I'm not going to fight with people that disagree with me. Here is my way. My way, I do not want to be weak on overhead presses because I believe you should be strong equally on all planes, vertical and horizontal, and I have not seen any evidence that being strong horizontally creates shoulder issues, right? I think training silly creates shoulder issues. Which protocol should you adopt? I don't care. Go with whatever one you trust. If you just want to do 200 sets of side laterals and a couple sets upright rows, not making fun of it, do it. Not making fun of it, do it. But if it's not giving you the results you want, go elsewhere. Should you do my protocol? Should you do somebody else's? You got to make that decision. Me, here's what my camp offers. We are going to get a fucking strong ass fucking overhead press, and we're going to enjoy it because pushing heavy shit over our head feels fucking awesome. You know what feels fucking awesome? Okay, I can bench press, but you know what feels fucking awesome to me? To have been able to do a 315-pound seated BTN press and a 315-pound front seated overhead press. That feels fucking awesome. The rest of the world can go fuck off with their fucking bench press, right? I love the bench press. I'm not dismissing it, but the rest of the world's fucking obsessed with it. Sorry for the rant. But you know what feels good? Having a big fucking overhead press as well. Having two big guns in your arsenal. That feels good. And it feels balanced to me. If you want to train like some other trainer teaches with overheads or upright rows and side laterals or whatever they do to build the delts, I don't care. I'm not going to go to war over it, but this is my way. And this is why I like it. And if you like my way, come go my way, right? If you don't like it and you like their way, go their way. I'm not going to go to war over it. Sam, I tried your tip from the last Q&A for dumbbell pullovers. The elbow would be specifically for lats. I struggle to feel the lats. So I was talking about on a dumbbell pullover, really trying to engage the lat. I was challenging people, give this a try and see if you can really feel the lats. Because I was more curious than anything. I can feel the lats on a machine pullover, when I do a machine pullover. So I was like, let's try this with a dumbbell or barbell and see if we can really feel the lats. Asif, when you are lifting really heavy, do you grip the bar or dumbbell harder than a lightweight? You're going to have to. You have a force that is resisting you. It's just basic physics. If you put something, how's it go? Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Okay. So we have the force of gravity. If we put a lightweight in our hand, we're going to have to use less of a force to control it. A heavier weight, we're going to have to use more. And part of that's going to be grip strength. The Hulk. Well, Bruce Banner, sorry. Don't mean to offend you, Bruce. Are you able to do a 5-day commercial gym split with a massive mass per week? Yeah, absolutely. I generally don't build a lot of 5-day splits because, I don't know, people are so anti-body part that I tend to do them just custom. 5 days straight. You can do it. It just has to be done, set up wisely. So what would I do if I had to do a 5-day split? Okay, so you have your chest and shoulders, okay? And you could have an arm day, a junk day, which I really like. A junk day is like, do your chest, legs, shoulders, back, junk, arms. Well, I don't call it a junk day. We kind of throw in everything else we want to work during the week, but we don't want to bloat our workouts. Could be rear delts, could be calves, could be abs. So you can do a junk day. I've also done a 5-day split where I did a deadlift and hamstring. So I would have a chest and shoulder. Okay. I would have a leg. I would have a back. And then my leg day would be really quad focused. And my deadlift day would be deads and hams and calves. Does that make sense? I would like to do an arm day, but my gym closes early. Yeah, I would do a junk day. Big Boy Raj, sir, what rep range is good for penalty rows? I like starting around 8. And mileage will vary a little bit. But we have to be aware of the stress that's playing on our lower back. So higher reps on the penalty row can be problematic for some. So I like to start around 8 and then adjust from there. You could do 5s, you could do 6s, you could do 8s. Just look at overall volume. I don't care if you're doing a 5x5. I like to sometimes on pendley rows do 4 or 5 sets of lower reps rather than a set of 10. Does that make sense? Larry, Big Larry, if you could play the main role in any movie ever made, what would it be? Man, I like Alien a lot. But Sigourney, like, I don't know, man. That's a tough one. It might be Alien, just to be a badass. Alien 2, Alien 3. I don't know. Steve, your opinion about doing a lot of doubles and triples instead of 5s? It would have to depend on how far along you were in your programming. Like I do, some of my clients do concurrent periodization, where we do doubles, triples, and then the next week or later in that week we do 5s or 6s. So in a scheme of concurrent periodization, I think it's a better option. Concurrent periodization is basically doing 2 different approaches at the same time to dumb it down. So I think that's probably the next step for a lot of guys. Once you built up a pretty decent bench, for example, you could do doubles and triples one day or 1 week, and then the next week 5, 6s, or 7s. Get a little bit of variety, and that's been shown. Concurrent periodization has been shown to be, pretty reasonable when it comes to progress without overcomplicating the periodization in general. All right, I got bored of my old program, doing it for a year. That's fair, and I'm making a new one. I need to rewatch your top 20 video. What are some exercises you enjoy doing? Bench and dumbbell bench. Doesn't matter the variation, right? Incline, whatever. Bench, dumbbell bench. Seated barbell and seated dumbbell. Deadlifts, dumbbell rows, seated cable rows, a lot of pull downs or pull ups. And then for legs, leverage squats, hack squats, leg extensions, leg press, leg curls, RDLs. You're pretty much getting close. Then you're throwing shruggies. Then you're showing your favorite arm work, and you're getting pretty close to 20 real quick. Big Bob Vila. Regarding sorry, Bob. Regarding compensating for small wrists, is training forearms. If you build the rest of your body up, you're probably never going to need to train forearms. It'll just grow from all the other work. If you want to do some wrist rollers a couple times a week or some wrist curls, that's fine. Just don't feel like you need to overwork them. Slark, would you say pushing hard in the gym is more important than diet? You can't separate them. Right, you have to have both. It's like saying on a car, is it more important to have wheels or an engine? Like it's nonsensical because you have to have both. Big AD, it's called a linear progression based. I'll look it up. If you can AD, you're more familiar with it than I am. If you could possibly send me the link up here, and I will maybe make a video on it and see if I can get all of Reddit angry at me. No, not really. I don't want to do that. I like Reddit. So your programs are genius. Thank you, kind sir. Are the racks equipment you sell specific to only your products? Can you add an attachment? It depends on the rack and what attachment you're talking about. So, like, I'm going to be making jammer arms, which my brand's called Bulldozer Arms, but we have built them to fit on nearly any other rack, right? So, not everybody is in that business, right? Because it costs money and time and energy and stress to make different things fit on different racks. So, check the specifications. If you're not sure, let me know and I can help you out. Can you run your programs with limited equipment? I can help you run it with limited equipment. Yeah, absolutely. I build workouts for clients every day with just barbells and dumbbells and limited equipment. So I have a service on my website, superlivingtoday.com, and I do custom workouts. If not, you could join Team Massive. Team Massive. Go to teammassiveiron.com. It's $9.99 a month. I know, a big charge, right? But you basically get micro coaching. So I'll help you with. I'm not going to build a workout for you, but I will help you with questions. Harut, have any restaurant horror stories? I'm sure I do. I got one. There was a Dairy Queen one. Back in the very early 90s, they had a steak sandwich. Okay. I love their steak sandwich. This was Dairy Queen back in the 90s, so I'm not sure if they still have it. I got done crushing about half that, and they were big old Sammys, right? I got done with about half of that thing. And, you look down at your plate. Sometimes you're just holding it like this. The whole bottom bun was blue, right? And your brain's like, right? So the first thing you do is drop it. The second thing you do is a gut check. Like, am I going to puke? Should I puke? Am I going to be okay? Am I going to die? And then you're like, well, my money back. I don't want to. You take it to the counter like, oh, I'm so very sorry. We'd love to get you another steak sandwich. Like, no, I think I'm good. I don't want to eat anything else from here for right now. Thank you very much. Thank you. So, horror stories. Buffalo Wild Wings. During the midst of the pandemic, right, I placed an order through Grubhub, and the order never showed. Like, it went like an hour and a half, and we're waiting, and we thought they were just busy. And I called Buffalo Wild Wings. They're like 2 miles down the road, right? I was just lazy, didn't want to leave for wings. And they said, you're not our customer. You'll have to contact Grubhub. I'm not your customer. I could have swore I just ordered something from your restaurant that you made for me. And the kid was in we were just calling. The kid was in a spit match. So me and my wife were like, fuck it, let's just drive down there and get the food, right? They wouldn't give it to us, right? They wouldn't give our food. We still paid Grubhub, right? We still paid Grubhub, and they still gave them their tip. They wouldn't give us our food. And then the Grubhub driver canceled. And it just turned into World War freaking 3. It did. LV King. Lifting is picking something up. When you lift something over your head, you're lifting it as high as possible. I like lifting stuff over my head. People don't want to lift it, or I hate fear, man. I'm afraid I'm going to get injured. Oh. I'm afraid I'm going to get. Who gives a shit, man? You know what I'm afraid of? Sitting on my fucking rotund ass on that fucking couch, eating Twinkies and ding dongs and beer, and just being a living piece of shit. I'm afraid of not having an adventure. I'm afraid of getting my shoulders hurt. Right. Fuck that. Come on. Let's lift heavy shit over our head. Matthew. Hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times. Good times create weak men. Weak men create hard times. That's it. That's the saying. So we have hard times with our diet nutrition, right? Obesity epidemic. It's going to create strong men. Not all of us, but it's going to create a strong backlash against that. And then strong men are going to create a better way. There's going to be some pioneers. And that good way is going to create weak men, because we get in a place of comfort, and then weak men get fat again, right? But that's kind of the way it goes. Type O negative, man. I cannot wait until my massive adjustment. Thank you so much for ordering that. Just doing a startup in this industry, I will put my reputation on the line. I don't like to say my stuff is better, but man, we did everything we could to make it better. We stress tested. We got the best steel. We got the best bolts. I know it's going to take a while, and I know this is just a pre-order, but thank you so much. You're not going to be disappointed. Asif, have you ever tried yeah, I got everyone. And I suck at them. I'm not going to lie. Man, I always dreamed of getting the entire set of Captain of Crush grippers, right? I just always dreamed of it because I was always a poverty kid. I never had any money. And the kids are out of school. I got a few pennies in the pocket. I'm going to get every Captain's of Crush gripper. Well, the first one's harder than I thought. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, so they're tough. They're fun, but they're tough. I don't feel like I can progress at 10 rep maxes pull-ups, but I can do in 3 to 5 range. Then you should do 10. Then you should progress until you can do 10. You should. I'm not being facetious, but you need to work on that because in the long run, that's going to service you the best. Sigma, don't you think heavy bench can increase? Yeah, they work well together. I think heavy overhead press can help increase bench. There's a really good synergy. And I think if you want to be the biggest bencher possible, that you probably should consider working your overhead presses hard. I'm not saying that's the case for everybody. I'm not trying to make rules or piss off TikTok or Reddit. But I think there is a lot of value if you want a big bench on really attacking the overhead. Parsa is going from 190 seated to, yeah, absolutely. Not many people get to 190 seated overhead. So if you get to that point, if you get to the point where you've already reached a very respectable overhead press, then yeah, I would say it is. All right, guys, last call. We got 3 questions left. Last call. Get them in now. We're going to get out of here. Big Jamie Roach. What's the best range in your view for muscle building? Rep range? No best rep range. Every exercise is different. The demands of every exercise is different. So there's no best rep range. Best way to build calves. So you want to start with your seated calf raise, and it's really going to work the soleus, okay? So you get on your seated, and you're going to do 2 to 3 seconds up, hold, 2 to 3 seconds down, hold. Now the calves have a let me set the table. We really don't care much about time under tension. It's not something we generally chase, but there are exceptions. Traps have limited range of motion, so because of that, we have to compensate by more time under tension, by placing more stress. Calves are the same thing. One of the best way to work your soleus is to do a seated raise, 2 to 3 seconds up, hold, 2 to 3 seconds down, and do that for 10 to 12 reps, 2 to 3 sets twice a week. Progressive overload. Okay? That's a good place to start. Big Jamie Roach. Just subbed the other day. Really appreciate your words. Thank you. I appreciate you following along. Raphael, thank you for doing these Friday lives. Always a good time. I appreciate more than you guys know, you guys tuning in. So thank you. Clo, if you've done your 3 years proper bulking, how many more inches on your arms do you have left to gain? If you've crushed 3 years of lifting, you should have gained at least probably 3 inches on your arms. Depending on where you start, you might have an inch, half inch, inch and a half, probably inch and a half to go. All right, guys, that's it. I appreciate you joining me. Massive Live is over for Friday, January 27th. If I missed your question, thank you, Parsa. I appreciate it. If I missed your question, head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman. Slide into my DM. You can follow me on Twitter, Tweeter, and Tutor. Check out my website. Just go over there and poke around. You want a shirt? I make a couple bucks. I have flags, which you can see right there. I have a massive iron, creatine, and whey, quality products. I'm not trying to be a supplement company, but if you want to put $5 in my pocket rather than $10 in one of the big brands, my supplements are made by a top-level manufacturer, and I stand by the taste and the quality. I only have whey, chocolate, and salty caramel. I only have creatine. That's all I'm interested in selling. You can check that out here as well. You can check out the workout tabs. I also have a training app, which you can check out under the app tab there. Massive fitness equipment at themassivefitness.com. We have Team Massive at teammassiveiron.com, and coaching, which is what I do for a living. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week. Stay out of trouble, and we are out of here.
It's not almost over. It's not almost over. You're not almost there. You're not almost there. You're not almost there.